Nest is a verb and a noun. So to nest is to be compartmentalized in something, to be iterative, but also to create something new, to create something that might be a place of incubation, a place of growth. But it is also a physical spot. And so we're here at Nest Studio for the Arts on the University of Colorado Boulder campus in a new building called the Case Building. The idea for this space and really initiative on campus came about a year ago when my colleague Tara Knight and I were sharing stories about our interest in the sciences and how we both make work that has both been inspired but is actually indebted to methodologies in science. It's really important to recognize that disciplines are separated at some level arbitrarily, and that any given researcher is often crossing traditional disciplines regularly. But I would argue that artists and scientists share common methodologies, iterative ways of working that are often overlooked, and yet they're different enough methodologically that they could potentially complement each other. And so one of my hopes here with Nest is that some of that complementarity can actually lead to new kinds of research, both for artists and for scientists. And I believe we're at a place in science where there's a deluge of data. And this is different than at any other point in history. We're getting so much data coming in from computers that are monitoring climate or monitoring changes in the weather, or even on a completely different scale, thinking about genetic variation, for instance. But we have this real inundation of data, and I believe that there are potentially new ways of looking at some of that data that might not be considered in traditional scientific empirical testing. And so perhaps, and this is speculative, but perhaps an artist coming in with a different eye, a different ear for reading some of that data could take us in a new direction. Here in this space, we're showcasing a number of Nest-initiated projects, and I'll point to a couple. One is a work between a hydrologist and a filmmaker. Another project that came through Nest graduate summer funding was a project between a ceramicist and a chemist. And they came together to make activated carbon sculptures that actively pull VOCs from the atmosphere. So if you think about the most contaminated interior environments, one of the most contaminated is a nail salon. And so that was one of the places where this duo is planning to do air quality tests before and after the placement of these sculptures. I would say Nest really would like to galvanize the community around new ideas of science and art coming together. So at the community level, that's something we want to bring more people in from outside of campus to campus to see what we're doing, what kind of research is being done, what kind of art is being made. And we really want to continue partnering more graduate students together across disciplines, allow for more communication in that realm, and then really expose undergraduates to radical thinking about pedagogy and how one can enter into astronomy through cinema, for instance. We're hoping we can create some new undergraduate classes, create a space here that undergraduates can explore in ways that they can't do anywhere else on campus, and then ideally faculty as well. I would encourage any students or faculty or community members who are interested to come to our opening of Embryonic, and feel free to come in anytime and just start asking questions and suggesting ideas about how they might get involved, because as much as this is now an entity that's begun, it's one that needs continual reinforcement and leadership from around campus to say, oh, we think it should go in this direction or that direction. So we would welcome any feedback and participation.